Chicken noodle. Chicken noodle soup is arguably the most universal comfort food in the world, and it's known for being the ultimate healing potion in Western culture. While it is a staple of modern grocery aisles, the concept of a restorative poultry broth dates back to ancient China. However, the specific combination of chicken, noodles, and vegetables likely originated within the Jewish communities of Eastern Europe. Known traditionally as Jewish penicillin, the soup was championed by the 12th century philosopher and physician Maimonides, who prescribed it as a medicine for respiratory illnesses. What makes this soup scientifically fascinating is that modern research has actually proved these ancient claims. Studies have suggested that chicken soup contains a mild anti-inflammatory effect that can help clear nasal congestion and ease the symptoms of the common cold. The magic lies in the slow simmering process, which extracts amino acids like cysteine from the chicken, which chemically resembles a common bronchitis medication. Whether it is served with thick egg noodles, tiny stars, or matzo balls, this tasty elixir remains a testament to the idea that some of the best medicine doesn't come from a pharmacy, but from a simple pot. Clam chowder. In 1939, a bill was introduced to the Maine state legislature that would have made it a statutory offense, punishable by law, to put tomatoes in a clam chowder. This wasn't just a quirky political stunt. It was the peak of a centuries-old war over the identity of clam chowder's recipe. While it originated as a humble fish stew brought by French and British sailors, it evolved into a landmark of the American Northeast that split the region in two. The New Englanders believed that a proper chowder must be a thick, ivory-white sea of heavy cream and salt pork, while the Manhattan rebels insist on a thin, briny, tomato-based broth. The history of the dish is all about survival on the Atlantic coast. Before modern refrigeration, sailors relied on hardtack, a rock-hard biscuit, to thicken their stews. This tradition survives today in the form of oyster crackers that are mandatory for any authentic serving. Whether you prefer the creamy richness of the North or the acidic taste of the New York style, the soul of the dish remains the same: the fresh, sweet clam. It is a soup so deeply ingrained in the American spirit that it even appeared as a central plot point in Herman Melville's Moby Dick, cementing its status as the official taste of the sea. Bouillabaisse pho is the national dish of Vietnam, but it is a relatively young soup that tells a complex story of intersecting cultures. Emerging in the late 19th century in northern Vietnam, pho is a hybrid masterpiece. The flat rice noodles and spices like star anise and cinnamon were brought by Chinese immigrants, and the heavy emphasis on beef is believed to be an influence from French colonizers who introduced the taste for red meat. Some linguists even suggest that the name pho is a Vietnamese adaptation of the French word pho yu, referring to the classic beef stew pot au feu. The soul of pho lies in its broth, which is a true example of patience. A traditional beef pho broth can take over 12 hours to simmer, requiring the baker to char ginger and onions over an open flame to get the smoky, deep mahogany color and a layered fragrance. In Vietnam, pho was originally a breakfast food sold by street vendors who carried portable kitchens on long wooden poles. Today, Vietnam is divided by pho styles. The North prefers a clear, simple broth with wider noodles, while the South favors a sweeter, bolder broth packed with a forest of fresh herbs, bean sprouts, and hoisin sauce. French onion. Long before it was the height of Parisian bistro luxury, French onion soup was nicknamed the soup of the drunkards. A pungent late-night cure used to cover up the smell of alcohol on the breath of 18th century partygoers. While it seems sophisticated today, it began as the ultimate poor man's fuel in ancient Rome, where onions were so cheap and plentiful that they were the primary food for those who couldn't afford meat. The soup we recognize today, crowned with a thick, golden lid of melted Gruyere, was perfected in the legendary Les Halles market in Paris. Market workers and socialites alike would gather at dawn to eat the heavy, calorie-dense broth, which was designed to be the last meal of the night or the first one of a very long day. The secret to a world-class French onion soup isn't the broth, but a chemical reaction called the Maillard reaction. To get that deep, mahogany color and sweet umami flavor, a chef must slow-cook sliced onions for nearly an hour, which turns their natural sugars into caramel. This process transforms a harsh, tear-inducing vegetable into something incredibly mellow and rich. Traditionally, the soup is served in a heavy stoneware crock to withstand the intense heat of the broiler, where a slice of bread acts as a raft to hold up the massive layer of cheese. It remains a testament to the idea that with enough time and patience, the humblest of ingredients can become a masterpiece. Miso. In ancient Japan, miso was so incredibly valuable that it was actually used to pay the salaries of high-ranking government officials, making it the first edible currency. While most people know it as a simple side dish, it is a nutritional powerhouse that has been the backbone of the Japanese diet for over 1,300 years. It is built around miso, a fermented paste made from soybeans, sea salt, and koji, a specific mold grown on rice. For Buddhist monks who followed a strict vegetarian code, this soup was a vital protein source, and it eventually migrated from the temples to the samurai class, who consumed it before battle for sustained energy and focus. There is a precise biological science to preparing miso. It is an alive food. Because the fermentation process creates beneficial probiotics and active enzymes, traditional cooks say that you should never actually boil the miso paste. If the water reaches a boil, the high temperature kills the healthy bacteria and destroys the delicate floral aroma of the beans. There are hundreds of regional varieties across Japan, from the light shiro, white miso, which is fermented for a short time and tastes sweet, to the aka, red miso, which is aged for years to develop a salty, pungent intensity. It is more than just a starter. For many, a morning bowl of miso is considered the secret to the longevity of the Japanese people. Gazpacho. Gazpacho is the undisputed king of cold soups, designed as a survival ration for Roman soldiers to prevent dehydration during wartime. While it is synonymous with tomatoes today, the original version of gazpacho didn't contain a single red vegetable. Before explorers returned from the New World, gazpacho was a white soup, consisting of a pounded mixture of stale bread, garlic, olive oil, vinegar, and water. This humble dish was a staple for Roman soldiers and later for field workers in Spain, who relied on the vinegar and salt to stay hydrated and energized under the scorching Mediterranean sun. The transformation into the vibrant red soup we know today happened in the 16th century when tomatoes and bell peppers were integrated into the Spanish diet. Modern gazpacho is essentially a liquid salad, traditionally made by blending raw vegetables with high-quality olive oil until the mixture becomes creamy and smooth. Because it is served ice-cold, it is one of the few soups where the quality of the vinegar is as important as the vegetables, providing a sharp bite that cuts through the heat. Regional variations are endless, from the thick, egg-topped salmorejo of Cordoba to modern versions blended with strawberries, cherries, or watermelon. Borscht. For centuries, families in Eastern Europe believed that the steam rising from a hot bowl of borscht wasn't just a delicious aroma, it was a literal pathway for the souls of the dead to travel from this world to the next. This deep spiritual connection is why borscht is more than just a soup. It is a cultural staple specifically in Ukraine. While its signature electric purple color comes from beets today, the soup's name actually refers to a different plant. The word borscht is derived from an Old Slavic term for cow parsnip or hogweed. In the ancient world, the soup was made by fermenting the leaves and stems of this wild weed into a sour broth. It wasn't until the 17th or 18th century that beets became the primary ingredient, giving the soup its modern flavor and hue. In Slavic folklore, borscht is more than just a meal. It is a symbol of the home and the spiritual world. It was traditionally believed that the steam rising from a freshly cooked bowl of borscht helped the souls of the dead pass from this world to the next. The soup is incredibly versatile, often containing over 20 different ingredients, including cabbage, potatoes, carrots, and sometimes meat. A true borscht is always finished with a dollop of smetana, heavy sour cream, which creates a beautiful pink swirl in the broth, and is often served with garlic butter bread rolls called pampushki. Bouillabaisse. This dish, now a luxury that can cost over $100 a bowl, was originally a disgusting trash stew made from the spiky, bony rockfish that the 18th century fishermen couldn't sell away at the market. These sailors would set up a massive cauldron of seawater right on the beach, tossing in the unsold fish along with scraps of garlic, fennel, and orange peel. The name itself is a set of instructions: bolhir to boil, and abasar to reduce heat. If you don't follow the rapid boil to simmer instructions, the oil and water won't emulsify and you'll end up with a greasy soup instead of a legendary broth. What makes bouillabaisse an event rather than just a meal is the ritual of its service. In Provence, it is a cardinal sin to serve the fish and the broth together in one bowl. The golden broth is served first as a soup, while the assortment of fish is presented on a separate large platter to be eaten as a second course. Every serving comes with rouille, a thick, fiery mayonnaise made from olive oil, garlic, saffron, and cayenne pepper. You spread the rouille onto crusty croutons, float them in the broth, and experience the ultimate transformation of bony leftovers into what many consider the greatest soup in the world.